Welcome to the channel where all you gotta do is take the Saanda out for a Thunderhill test day. And we got the Saanda out for the first time in, I don't know, almost 2.5 years or something like that. So, test day. Not too many people here yet, but I'm used to Lemons weekends. Looks like there's a couple of Lemons Miatas over there. Honestly, that's what those look like. Could be spec Miatas, those are just about as beat up. So Diego, why don't you hop in there and drive that thing off the trailer? Don't hit nothing.
100% fuel.
Dude, don't let it roll forward.
He's taking all my slack out of it.
What did you do? You had one job and you let it roll forward. Nope. It wants to start. took the Saanda out for test day is because we put a bunch of data acquisition systems on it. We put header, different turbo. We've always had shock potentiometers on it, but we had this race capture system that we couldn't really get any data out of. So anyway, that's why we took it to the track. We did find some issues, mostly with the data acquisition system, but also the new turbo we put on there. Well, not new, used. Base put mark in place find. I think I know why the guy sold them now, but anyway, this is what data we did get. We had some problems with USB drives, and anyway, so we'll lick our wounds and fix it and come back. But we did get some good data. So let me explain what's going on here. This is the throttle position sensor, so obviously that's wide open throttle. And this is zero throttle, you know, going through a corner, giving a little here and there, whatever, easing on. So I'm not sure what part of the track this is, but I could probably guess, knowing Thunderhill pretty well. But the next series of graphs is, these are all the wheel weights: front left, front right, rear left, rear right. So zoom into this little spot right here, which appears we're going down a straight because the fronts are the same. So the fronts are the purplish colors and the rear is the greenish colors. So you can see we got, you know, more weight on the rear, and we got 400 kilograms and 250 or something on the front. Yeah, 235, 235, blah blah blah. So anyway, that's going down the straight. And if you add this up, I think it's 60-40. It's usually around there. So this is about 350. This is about 230. Yeah, half again of that is 115. Add 115 to that, you get about that. So, but then when he gets off the throttle and gets on the brakes, you can see here, look, they all end up pretty much the same. We have a tiny bit more weight on the front wheels than we do on the rear, but not a huge amount. And you'll find that's fairly consistent. You know, every time we go into a braking zone, this is a pretty sharp braking zone here. Zoom in on that. Yeah, 315, 290, 278, 286. And just prior to that, it was 350, 200. So the other thing that you'll notice, now that we have these, so I probably should explain a little more. These aren't actual weight on the wheels. This is actually the position of the, basically the shock. There's a potentiometer, a linear potentiometer on each shock absorber. And then what we did is, well, we put it on scales. And so that's the weight of the vehicle on the ground. And then we ratchet strapped it to the ground until it hit the pump stop to get the higher force. And then we lifted it off those scales with a jack until we got the higher force. And then we calibrated it. And so instead of having a shock travel, what does that mean to anybody? Nothing, right? Unless you know the suspension geometry and where the shock is and whatever. So we just calibrated it to weight, and you can see that if you're going slowly, so down here is a wheel speed, so let's grab that. That's like 60 miles an hour. There's probably one slower in here. Let's find a really slow mile an hour. Well, that's pretty slow. That's like 40 kilometers an hour, so that's 25 miles an hour. And if you look up here, the weight of the car is 1,100 kilograms. So when you're going very low speed, it's 1,100 kilograms. And when you're going high speed, it's 1,200 kilograms. So 110-ish kilograms of downforce, which is 125 kilograms. I think there's higher numbers here depending on the deployment of the wing and stuff like that. So the car is not generating lift, it's generating downforce. And we can take this data and do some math and see what the individual front rear contribution is. But that's good to know. And we kind of, while we were there doing track day, we wanted to get some aerodynamic data. So we put some tassels on the car and, well, yarn. So that's the first three: wheel speed, throttle position. There's also brake pressures and stuff in here that somehow we don't have. We also have an exhaust gas temperature before and after the turbo. So this one's before the turbo, this is after. And as you can see, we're pretty high up there on, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a danger zone, but it's getting close to a danger zone on the exhaust gas. And then the other thing, we were running this with very low boost. Like, here we have, that's full throttle. Let's go back over here where it's like sustained full throttle. That's throttle position. So we only have 25 kPa. So that's like 4 pounds of boost or something like that. Not a lot of boost. But we have, well, this one of these is in gauge and the other one's in, anyway. So, and then these are, we don't have all the data. So this isn't great because our manifold pressure is at the intake manifold after the throttle bodies and all that junk. So the pressure at the turbo is higher than that. So this number at the turbo is higher because it's got to go through the, got to go through the pipe, around the corners, through the intercooler, back out. It cools down some, so that changes the pressure, and it's got to go through into the plenum and through throttle bodies and all that. So this pressure is probably higher once you add the all the losses and the cooling down from the intercooler. So we really need to put the turbo out pressure and make these into manifold or absolute, doesn't matter. Just make them the same. So anyway, this is kind of what we need to kind of develop the car, because like I said earlier, we built this car. I built this car. I say I didn't build it myself. There was team members on the team at the time. Those team members are not gone, but they're not on the team anymore. So the new team is helping now, and we've been running this car for 12, 13 years, something like that, and we really haven't done any optimization. Like, when stuff breaks, we kind of fix it and theoretically make it better, but we never tested it. And the devil's in the details. Like, there's probably 5 to 10 seconds of lap time around, say Sears Point, just by optimizing the tune-up and the Aero and all that stuff. And so we're kind of limited by what we can do. $500 car, but data acquisition doesn't cost the price of the car in Lemons. But I'm not so sure we're going to be running too many Lemons events anyway, because everybody's kind of busy, kids and life and work and all that stuff. So maybe the Lemons race isn't going to be our deal, but maybe it'll be a track car. Maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll go back to Lemons or Lucky Dog or whatever. But for now, I'm going to have fun doing data acquisition-y stuff, and I'm going to put my Adrian Newey hat on. We both need hats for some reason. So stay tuned. We will get a lot of this data acquisition stuff fixed up and better, and we'll do another track day, whether it's Button Willow or Sears Point or Laguna Seca. Who knows? It'll be some track somewhere in the Central California, Northern California, Southern California kind of area. Or maybe we'll go back east. Who knows? There's some really awesome tracks that I'd love to go to back there.